Again, hi everyone. My name is Stephen Crane. I'm the editor, writer, community manager for Armed Gamer. Um, I This is What's Brewing with Armed Gamer. And again, just because everyone missed, on video with me is Drew, and not on video but on phone is Jeff Ford. So
Yes.
yeah, so why don't you guys just say hi? Drew, what are you drinking tonight?
Uh, Yingling Lager.
Wow,
Yeah.
way to be a pansy about it. Jeff, what do you got?
Well, I've got the same thing I had last week because I didn't finish it, and some Labatt Blue because, again, I couldn't get to the store today because we're at dry counting, apparently.
Boo.
That,
Well,
that's unfortunate.
I got me some Steiner Hefeweizen, so I'm good to
Ooh.
go. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of my weedy beers. So yeah, let's hop right onto it. Interesting news this past week, or yeah, this past week was Paul Cristoforo, the guy everyone loves to hate from Ocean Marketing. Once again hit the headlines because he is now suing Avenger controllers for defamation. He's claiming that they are prohibiting him from continuing his business because of all the bad press that's out there. Um, yeah, so this is an interesting new development. I mean, the guy just, I don't know, he can't seem to win the public in his favor anymore.
Well,
Just
he
one guy
can't.
can hack it in, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a certain
Mhm.
point where you'd be like, all right, I'm done with PR. I messed up way too much.
It's game over, man.
You don't get
Yeah,
a job after all the stuff that he did. I mean, he just lost his goddamn mind.
It appears that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And well, the interesting point is about 2 days before that hit headlines, maybe a day before, he was on Twitter with some of the guys from Penny Arcade, Robert Koo and I think C.W. Gabriel,
Mhm.
and he was just being, apologetic, be like, hey, I've grown since then, I've changed, I've really been trying to focus on my faith, on my family, and stuff like that. Um, and it kind of felt like they came to an agreement, an arrangement, being like, all right, well, you're still, all right, like, you don't look like you're as much of an asshole anymore. And then the moment PAX Prime tickets were announced, he started tweeting them like, ooh, am I still banned? Can I actually go? And then the announcement of his lawsuit kind of hit headlines, and everyone started tweeting him, being like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, you're the jerk who, was acting horribly to these people. I don't think that's defamation. So,
There's no defamation suit that should be considered here. He was completely in the wrong. He acted on his own. He was getting emails from people and just telling them like, bah, whatever you say, saying that there will be no refunds if any would catch anybody canceling their pre-orders to get the $10 discount after the fact. It's absolutely stupid. I mean, it's his fault. There's no way he should be suing anyone. So hopefully this just it gets thrown out as a nuisance suit.
yeah, well, he's alleging that he should never have been put in that position. He's saying that as a PR rep, he should not have been dealing directly with customer service.
It sounds like Office Space. I deal with the goddamn customers.
Just burn the house down. Yeah. Yeah, so he's yeah, and funny thing is I actually wrote an article about it, just kind of being like, showing everything that had happened recently.
Mhm.
And he saw it because I mentioned him on Twitter when I posted the link. And he was just like, "It was a reasonable article. I respect you." I was like,
I,
"Huh."
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's like that. That was odd.
Did you put did
Follow,
you put
follow your
that like at the bottom of it?
follow your Twitter conversation. You're like, I'm gonna take the high road here. I'm like, nah, he's not gonna do that. Wait a minute. That kind of worked. Steve, you broke him.
I think I did. Yeah, because it's just like I'm not going to completely flame him. I'm going to kind of present things honestly, And now that I think about it, I just had this weird thing hanging at the bottom. Everyone, 1 second while I fix that. That's actually just because I want this to also include video games somewhere along the lines. I'm including video of me playing League of Legends down in the lower left. Um,
You
Cool.
realize that's like a half inch by half inch,
yeah,
right?
it's going to increase soon as soon as I find a game because yeah, I just did things all
Okay,
messed up when I filmed it. But it gets fixed eventually.
fair
Um,
enough.
yeah, but goddamn, I suck at that game. I don't know if you guys realize, but I am awful at playing that game. I was playing a little bit earlier today, and damn,
I haven't
I
seen
am
you play the
unaware.
game, but I'm gonna assume you are.
yeah. Amazingly, these two, oh my god, 1 second, I just messed everything up. There we go, fixed.
That's not me. There we
Oh
go.
my god.
That's how
Um,
you should do the show, just with every picture is you, just all around.
absolutely. Be like,
You have to cut it so it's you talking to yourself.
I wonder if I could pull that off.
Very easily. Just record a conversation, have a conversation earlier, and then ask yourself those questions later on.
I should just interview myself.
No, interviewing Steve Crane with Steve Crane.
Indeed. So, what did you guys want to talk about? Did you have any topics?
Drew?
Huh.
Drew, Jeff, one of you? Throw something out there.
Well, interestingly enough, I started playing StarCraft online yesterday.
Oh God,
That's all of my coworkers
one or two.
too.
Oh God, I
It's
am.
like, hey, I played StarCraft back in the day. This should be no problem. I got my ass handed to me in the first 5 matches.
Yeah, dude, that's because it's a goddamn e-sport now. So people will just sit down and watch like videos of people playing, and be like, "Ah, that's a good strategy. I should use that." And
Dude, if you don't have your strategy, my coworkers tell me, if you don't have your strategy defined in the first 5 minutes, you're screwed.
yeah,
Really?
see,
I like that quasi-racist accent that Steve.
Yeah.
dude, the Korean. What can I say?
It was almost Korean. Like, you didn't want to fully commit to it, but I understand.
Oh yeah. Um, but God, yeah, just watching people play that game is absurd.
It's
Like,
intense, man. I'd never seen anybody like hardcore like sit down and play it before, but holy hell, that's a every motion is so calculated at certain points in the game. Like at minute 3, you do X, Y, Z. Minute 4, you should be at this point.
Oh,
You
man.
scout his base, and he's got this. Then he's gonna use this strategy. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude, take it down a notch.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Which, really sucks because my strategy is always to be Protoss and just build nothing but turrets. Like, I have had people come to my side of the map and just see a wall of my color going back. It's just like a sea of turrets. They just sit there like, well, this is going to take an hour to go through. Like, I can't possibly beat them, but it's just a war of attrition at that point where they're just too bored going through my turrets.
Rage quit.
I
I
just don't think you're playing the game the way it's meant to be played, Steve.
I disagree. So long as I get that win, that's all that
Man, if
matters.
you
True.
win, they're angry, and that's a win-win right there.
Mark that W.
Precisely.
For me?
That reminds me, you said like you have to have your strategy done like 4 minutes in. I remember I was playing a card game once. I was playing the Marvel Versus game that was out at the time,
Mhm.
and the one time I played it like at a professional level, this kid, from the time I picked like which turn I wanted to go on, you could pick to go first or second. The kid turned to his friend like, he picked second. What the heck does that mean? And I'm not playing anything popular at all. I'm just trying to screwing around, and I'm just thinking like, really? You can tell what the deck somebody's gonna play just by what turn they take. This is not a fun game.
Yeah, God, you should see people play Magic the Gathering.
Oh, I've
Oh,
seen it.
crap.
It's spectacular.
Oh God, I used to play with someone who had like this crazy, crazy deck where his land became the creatures.
What?
So you were fighting his land.
So it's like Swamp Thing?
Something like that. Yeah, it was just the weirdest thing ever. Huh. So,
The level.
yeah, so Jeff, I believe you had a few things you wanted to talk about, right?
I did. I wanted to talk about fighting games because I was playing Soul Calibur 5 today, and it's easily the worst one so far.
Oh, absolutely.
But I was thinking about it. Like every fighting game, it seems to get ridiculously hard as you get older, and I'm just wondering if that's because I'm just getting older and therefore I'm not in the zone anymore. You know, like the people who play those games are like 13 to 17-year-olds that learn every move. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and meanwhile I'm still just like Ryu. I've got three moves I can do, so this is how they're going to go. You know, that's all I'm worried about. Not that I've really beat Street Fighter 2 back in the day, but you know, like I could get to the last round. I could get to M. Bison every time, but now it's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, well, so, on some level, yeah, it has become a bit more difficult because obviously they're trying to add more depth, be like, oh, hey, we're a profession, like we can make this into an esport now, and it's a growing scene.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, you know, they are trying to be let things be a bit more comfortable for new people coming in. Excuse me. Um, you know, you'll see them try to add new mechanics. If you saw with Soul Calibur, I think 4, they had that gem thing where you couldn't just block all the time, otherwise the gem would
Right.
break and you'd lose whatever. Um,
Hmm.
then with you know, and I think Street Fighter X Tekken they added in some strange system that's going to be like weird to crack, and you know it's not that good of a game, but they're at least trying to make it more accessible to new people. But you know, I think as fighting games get more popular, you'll see more people are more used to them. You know, they've had this instinct in them for the longer time, so it's a lot more natural then to just pick up a game and destroy everyone else online.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, they're definitely trying to make some games like more accessible, like Capcom versus Marvel number 3 or whatever it was. I think that's what it's called.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah, that's the one. Jeez, when you say it backwards, it sounds completely wrong. That's right. Uh, I mean, every move on that game is so easy to pull off to a certain extent. It's just how you use it. So, you know, once you like get a couple of them down, like, oh, I can beat anybody in the world. Then you go online, it's like, no, I can't.
Suddenly fail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat wants to know if I'm reading it. Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah, reading the two comments there. Thank you.
Yes. You
Excellent.
haven't said anything that I could really respond to other than assholes will always be assholes, but, you know.
Okay.
Who's that? Who's that vlog dad?
GTK Lidsman. Yeah.
GT Kool-Aid's man. Oh, yeah.
Or GTK Lidsman.
Huh. Yeah, it is.
Maybe? I don't know. It's one of those names you gotta read a couple times to actually.
Yeah, just gotta kind of sit there and be like, what could this actually be?
This? Good. To Lidsman?
GT, then Kool-Aid's man. Someone says, listening to this while playing Skyrim is interesting. I can
Oh,
only
yeah.
imagine.
Well, Skyrim is always interesting.
It is. You know, I mean, I used to play Skyrim like you, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
No.
Boo.
No.
Oh god, I saw this fantastic video on YouTube the other day. It was like badass Skyrim, and it was like, you know, just live action filming or whatever. It was just a guy pretending, like, with boffer weapons, going through and attacking a bunch of his friends, whatever, on camera in first-person mode. And you just saw one shot, like an arrow coming from him. It almost hits his knee. He picks it up, like he grabs the arrow out of the air right before it hits his knee, throws it back over the wall, kills the guy, and just keeps going. I was like, that was epic.
Full
Yes,
story, bro.
absolutely, it happened. They nodded. They made a nod towards the meme. It was fun.
Yeah, dude. That game's awesome. Like, I played it through one time, then I played it through again with all the mods when I almost cooked my PC. Enhanced blood splatter mechanics, best mod ever. When you cleave someone in half, they just spray everywhere.
Nice. Have you tried any of those sex mods? I know you have.
Which one?
Yeah, you know the ones. Ones where like, I'm gonna get a big-breasted model. Now an even bigger one. This mod is amazing.
Don't you mean enhanced textures?
Yes, I believe that's what they're. uh,
I might have to agree with Kool-Aid. Dude, how do you say your name? Come on.
he said his.
Come on.
He says GT Kool-Aid's man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look up a bit. Scroll up your chat, sir.
scroll. Dude, I see the whole chat. All like,
Yeah, are you guys even reading the chat?
yes,
GT
I'm
then
looking right
Kool-Aid.
at it.
What
Thank
up?
you.
I can read. So, anyway, back to the fighting game thing.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I've never really been one to really go too much into the fighting game community because
Mm.
they're a bit too young for me, I find.
Too
Um,
young.
I mean, not even just the people in there, but the community itself is too young, so they're still at that spot where they are all the worst parts of what it is to be a gamer. You know, they sit there, they're like, screaming, you know, just racist, sexist stuff everywhere. And even during the Street Fighter X Tekken tournament that was on Twitch TV,
Mm.
um, there was that huge scandal where the one guy was just completely sexually harassing his own female teammate, and she eventually was just like, you know what, I'm sick of this, and completely did nothing in the tournament. Just like made sure she lost. That way she would be kicked out, kicked off the island or whatever, and leave.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. She was just so pissed off at the guy. But then, that guy who was sexually harassing her was kind of defending that sort of action as an ethical imperative in the fighting game community.
Uh,
Um, he's
I
like,
think it goes
if,
both ways. I
huh?
mean, yeah, I think it goes both ways. Like, if you're doing, I don't get why you do that to your own teammate and try to psych him out. But if it's a legitimate strategy that everybody agrees upon is cool, if you can try to psych out your opponent by saying random shit, then okay. If everybody agrees it should be allowed, maybe it should be allowed. But I don't. I think he was just being a dick.
Yeah, I mean, well, what it was she was just kind of sitting there practicing. And he was like taking the camera, like zooming in on her chest and on her ass, and like asking her what her cup size was, and just like
And this
stupid.
was his teammate?
This was his teammate. That's the really fucked up part about this.
Being within 20 feet of a woman.
I really don't think he has been. But yeah, then he was on a stream later, kind of defending it as an ethical imperative, saying that you can't change the fighting game community. This is a part of the fighting game community. This is what we do. To change that is unethical.
What?
But an asshole is still an asshole.
Yeah. Very much so.
Precisely, yeah. And oddly enough, there's still some people like defending him, and I was like, you can't defend that stuff as an ethical imperative. Sexual harassment is not cool, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it's kind of why I like to chill out and watch the StarCraft community because they've actually done a good job of censoring themselves.
Yeah.
So there's one guy who even just kind of, as an aside somewhere, said the N word, and people were immediately calling up the sponsors, being like, "Yo, drop him. He's racist."
Hmm.
And it was actually a really interesting moment in that community, and that's kind of been something that's continuing. If someone goes back into those old, awful gamer ways that you'd find on like Not in Your Kitchen anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also goes to show, like, you probably assume the StarCraft community is a much older, more settled community as opposed to the fighting game community, no?
I would have to agree. Yeah, um, it's a lot.
Maybe that type of thing will come with age, but, it still remains to be seen in that particular community.
Yeah, part of it is the StarCraft community is much bigger, much more public.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they have their own damn esports community. So, and they have like their own channel in Korea.
That's
Going
pretty
back to the
amazing.
whole thing. That's crazy, dude.
Do you think it'll ever be like that here, where we can actually, we'll have like like G4 every once in a while they'll run one of those like gaming sports kind of shows. Like sometimes they'll have like just a series of them. Sometimes they'll just be like a one-off. Like you'll see a big game arena. Remember when that show was on?
Oh God, yeah, I vaguely remember
Yeah.
that.
So
Once the demand is there, it'll happen. Like, if there's enough people like watching these
Yeah.
Twitch.tv events, somebody's gonna realize that, hey, there's a lot of value in here. We're gonna throw this up on TV, throw a lot of ads on it, and we're gonna make money. When there's money to be made, it'll be made.
that's true.
Yeah, and
More of that thing now.
yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you see other channels try it. I remember, I think it was like Spike TV or something had an entire series of videos where it was like football tournaments. It was like Madden
Yeah.
19 or Madden
Yeah.
97 or whatever. Or I don't even know, just throwing out random year tournament on TV, and they were kind of like playing through, and like they made an entire season of shows about it, as people were slowly getting knocked off, eliminated, what have you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that's been experimented with. It's not been perfected yet because sports games themselves are really easy to get into. You just
Right.
have to understand the sport. The reason something we're having trouble with in other video games is they have an incredible amount of depth, but it's really complicated and really difficult for someone new to hop in because we don't really have any good casters who go out there and be like, so here are the basics of the game. Here's how we, can go through and simply explain this and, simple strategies.
Hmm.
And that's something we need. We need to make it simple and approachable for new people to kind of come in and see.
You need that, and you also need the depth to keep them there. So you
Yes.
need like kind of interesting enough to draw them in, easy enough to be able to get in enough depth and enough where to go to keep everybody still like active and involved in it. I don't
And
know. It should be interesting. I think it's something that's probably going to happen in the next 10 years, but it'll be interesting to see which game it kind of happens with, which community it kind of takes off with.
yeah, another
Hmm.
point that developers need to start considering is how entertaining is it for people to just spectate a match?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's something they've never really had to consider before, so they're having difficulty with that.
Yeah, I mean, especially since there is that stigma, like you were talking about with sexual harassment and all that. If it's going to be, the best match you would see, like in a Halo Reach kind of game, for example, would be like, a 7-year-old yelling about how he's going to, kill all of these, N words, F words, all this other kind of crap. Like, would people watch that part, or would they actually watch more like the game involved in that? Which one is more important to keep?
Hmm.
right.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Well, definitely the sensational aspect of the 7-year-old yelling like racial slurs is going to make the evening news, which is not what you want.
Right.
Yeah, I.
Well, what you want.
Yeah, I'm sure Jack Thompson would like love to see that happen.
Oh, he would come in his
Get
pants.
sparred.
That guy's a douche.
Yeah. Hence the disbarring and all of that.
Yeah,
Yup.
He
good
was a douche
times.
and a bad lawyer.
Throttle Junkie wants to know, do we have any thoughts on the other Blizzard game communities? So I'm assuming means Diablo,
Wait, yeah.
Warcraft, World of Warcraft. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that deep into any of those other communities. I've never really gotten into World of Warcraft, and Diablo I've played just casually, but never really was part of the community for it.
Mm.
Any of you guys have any thoughts?
Nah, not much of a. I played Diablo 2 a little bit, but WoW is one of those. I see heroin. I've heard stories. I think I'm gonna like let that one be.
I never really get much into like the community aspect of these games. Like I never go on the forums of any of that. Like the deepest I'll go is like GameFAQs just to see like what
Yeah.
people are saying about it. But I don't think there are many communities left where people actively pursue like topics in that. Besides just like we're gonna kick your ass. No, you're not.
Hmm. Well,
Mhm.
what's
Like,
interesting is if you check out like Reddit,
yeah,
the subreddits for the different games are actually generally very interesting and informative.
that's true. Like I'm on the Battlefield 3 Reddit quite a bit, and it's pretty much mostly bitching about game mechanics. But then again, there was a lot to bitch about, especially a couple of months ago. But more just analysis on differences with patches and all that, and people are trying to be engaged with it, but sometimes the publishers and the dev teams make it a little harder, especially for a game like that, where WoW, I think more community engagement is encouraged, as
Hmm.
opposed to a game like Call of Duty Battlefield or something like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, one really interesting thing that's happened is what's going on with Dota, Defense of the Ancients. It originally started off as a Warcraft 3 custom map, and it kind of started to grow much more popular. I remember back in the early days of the game I used to play. Um, And Valve and Steam kind of hired the guy who originally created Dota and had been constantly updating and working on it to create Dota 2. Blizzard was not necessarily too thrilled about that because in their mind, Dota was a something owned by them. It was their game that got modded. You know, they provided the tools to mod. They provided the servers that everyone was playing on.
Hmm.
You know, and it was that game that kind of spawned League of Legends and Heroes of New Earth and whatnot. So they were trying to tell Blizzard no, or they were trying to tell Steam and Valve no. Sorry, that's ours. Um, and it was kind of an interesting debate: who owns the custom game content? You know, who owns a custom map in StarCraft or Warcraft 3?
Huh.
Hmm.
You know, is it fair to say that only the custom map makers own their custom maps and the rights to the title of that map? Or is it Blizzard who provides the tools, the game, the servers, the matchmaking capabilities?
Yeah, that's rough because on one hand, no matter what tool you're given, like that's like saying, somebody who made a saw owns whatever, gets sawed by it. It's kind of rough to say that, yeah, I completely see that, but at the same time, just because you give somebody the tools doesn't mean you own what they create.
Exactly. And it got settled. Steve and Valve are allowed to use Dota for their product. Blizzard is instead going to take up Blizzard All Stars, I believe. So it all eventually got worked out amicably. Everyone is walking away happy, you know. So that's but that's still a really interesting debate. Can Bethesda try to sit down and claim that all the mods out there that make Skyrim look better, sound better,
Hmm.
and whatnot, are those theirs?
No.
Yeah, so I mean, it'd be interesting to see it taken to court, but I don't think
Right.
it ever will. Everyone's always going to settle because why the hell not?
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's no point in going to court anymore. If all you're looking for is money, you're going to get some at that point
Yeah.
from one side or the other.
Yeah.
They got enough
Um,
to keep it quiet. I mean, or it could be a process that they use to look for new developers, people who make the best, most popular mods, something that works well with the engine.
yeah, and
Yeah,
That's true.
that's another
and why?
interesting.
And I don't know. I don't think it would work in, especially like a company like Bethesda, if they started going to court and threatening people who made content for the game. They're essentially going after their game's biggest fans. I
Funny
think that'd be
story. They've been kind of doing that. There was one website that had created like Fallout posters. It's just a guy taking like general Fallout ideas and created a fan
Mhm.
website, and he was very, very clear on there. This is just a fan website. This is nothing official with Bethesda or ZeniMax. It's just creating general Fallout themed posters. I think the website is like falloutposters.com or whatever. Um, and
So,
he got a cease and desist letter in the mail from Bethesda saying, "Hey, don't do this. This is our content. This is our intellectual property." And he kind of wrote a letter back, just being like, "All right, I understand your position, but you guys are going after like a huge fan here. I love your stuff. I'm going to take down my website because I respect you, but that's kind of not cool. Like you're being litigious, and you could instead just have called me and discuss this with me, and I would have been more than happy."
mm,
Yeah, it always sucks to see where like a company's knee-jerk reaction is the legal department as opposed to actually, try to talk to the fan.
Yeah,
They can come with some sort of arrangement before papers are filed. Do you know if he was trying to make money off the site? Did he have like ad space and shit like that up, or?
I don't believe he had ad space, and he certainly wasn't selling anything for money.
mhm.
He would just have the downloads on there with his own original artwork. He would draw stuff, Photoshop it, put it up. People could download it, make posters of it themselves. And he wasn't selling anything, I don't believe.
Because it was that I remember a case back in the day where that guy was making World of Warcraft guides that people could buy, like on eBay, and then Blizzard came after him real hard, and they they kept taking down his site, and he would kind of try and come back and put him up again, but eventually he just went away. That's the kind of same thing. he's not actually selling anything that isn't already there. It's just that he's selling his information. But I guess it was like, he was selling pictures and images from the game too.
I can definitely see they might have a point with like for-profit guys, like especially like a game guide, where of course they're going to sell. Like Blizzard has their own game guides that they're going to try to sell, and this is their intellectual property. But if you just have a website and you're just like, hey, look at this cool artwork I made based off of the game,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to do a quick shout out to the chat. GT Kool-Aid's man, he's currently working on a National Game Olympics. Just wanted to tell you, yeah, that would be interesting. Dude, if you're doing that, you're working on the website, he said, shoot me an email at steven@thearmedgamer.com. That's STEPHEN at thearmedgamer.com. And we can talk a bit more about it. Definitely be very interested to see what you're doing and hear what you have in mind. Anyway, back to the whatever else we were talking about.
Who knows at this point?
Yeah, we're just kind of chilling out, drinking.
We'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so things have been, fortunately, relatively light in the video game controversies lately. Like, there hasn't been anything crazy going on.
Hey, Steve can sleep. That's cool.
Yeah, oh, sleep. What is that thing?
No more Mass Effect 3 type launches on the horizon.
Yeah.
So when are you doing your Diablo 3 marathon, man?
No.
You gonna play that game in one shot?
No marathon. Forget that. I'm going to pick up the game tomorrow night, play it, deal with that as it comes.
Since you're a gaming blog, can you claim games as like work-related expenses?
I do. I'm also going to be claiming
awesome.
my TV as a work-related expense. Yeah.
We'll talk about making me an independent contractor.
But yeah, no, I just sat down with like a tax guy at H&R Blog. I was like, here's a bunch of receipts. These are totally work-related expenses. He's like, okay, adds them up. Yes.
Man, if I worked at H&R Block and you came with a bunch of video game receipts,
Hey man, I showed
I'd probably
him.
say okay too.
I showed him like my website, my business cards. Like, this is what I do. It's a legitimate function of my job. I review this stuff, and if a review of the game doesn't come up, I'm using it to connect with my fans.
I like how you have a business card. Like, I couldn't just get 4 of those tomorrow.
Hey,
Would it say the same thing?
those things are very difficult to come by.
On mine, it's just going to say better than Steven's website.
Yes, that's
Send me a
exactly
few
what
of
they should
those.
say. Man, and then I would probably have to come out with a separate business card and be like, fuck that Jeff guy. My website is totally better.
I just want everyone to have a business card that says "fuck that Jeff guy." I think that'd be better.
Fuck that
I'm
Jeff
the
guy. Stephen Crane. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
I'm gonna get into producing business now.
Yeah.
Well, we really slowed down quick. Throttle Junkie wants to know if we played Call of Duty.
Do we play I do not play Call of Duty that often. Like, I'll play it if I'm bored, but I didn't like Modern Warfare 3 all that much, to be honest.
Not a fan.
Still haven't played it.
Yeah, Battlefield 3, I will play that in a heartbeat.
That's my drug.
Yeah, but I don't know, Call of Duty, I've just kind of been like, about, there's Black Ops 2 is coming out, that's like set in the future or something, but
I gotta see where that thing's going, because I like Black Ops better than some of the other Call of Duties, like the Modern Warfare series. I don't know, the whole modern.
I liked Modern Warfare, just
I
one.
picked up Call of
the
Duty
first
was
one.
all World War II based, so that's kind of what I still associated as. I thought like
World at War.
United Offensive was the best one out of them all, and 2.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
The multiplayer where you have to drive tanks around and the like pretty big open maps.
Yeah.
Completely went away from that direction, but
I liked the big open maps. That was awesome.
I'm still waiting for a game that does like big, like Battlefield 1942, like massive maps where you have completely different battles that you can't even see.
Dude, Arma 2.
Yeah,
One thing I really
that
want
you
to
don't
play.
die immediately.
One thing I really want to do is I want to get that game and play that DayZ mod.
Oh God, yeah, that
I
looks awesome.
I mean it's currently an alpha, completely like it's buggy to shit. It'll crash on you every 2 seconds, but it's such a good concept that I could probably deal with that.
Yeah,
And it sounds really interesting. It's been getting a whole bunch of press, and the developer has come out and said that he is tremendously nervous about it because he's just like, "This is alpha. I don't want people like playing this yet. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the fuck?"
but
So
again, Battlefield 3 beta was basically, I don't know if you guys played that, was basically an alpha with the stringy neck and all those.
yeah, like the people just being like, "I'm gonna go hide under the map and kill you." That was
Yeah.
frustrating.
Under the map.
Yeah, there are certain points where
Oh
you just
man, I remember the shit. What was that? The World at War beta, where there was like you could walk on. There was like one map available, and you could just walk under the entire map. There was one place that everybody knew about it, so everybody went under the map, and the entire like nobody actually played on the map. It was just the flat surface under the map that everybody shot each other in.
that's awesome.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah, though, let me tell you, I'm kind of disappointed with the direction many first-person shooters are taking at this point, where it's no longer just big, open, expansive maps or worlds I'm fighting in. You know, I'm just going through corridor to street to corridor.
Hmm.
You
You
know,
know, I've heard the argument that it's all also like, games like Call of Duty and that are built for the console, which doesn't have as much oomph as a PC-based game would.
hmm
Back in the day, you had like 1942, 2142. Like those could handle like big, expansive maps, but there are limitations of the hardware. But I definitely see the next generation of hardware. You have like 100 versus 100 matches, like a huge, massive, expansive battlefield.
Yeah, though I don't know if Xbox will ever allow 100 versus 100 matches. They are really, really restrictive on their Xbox Live.
Yeah.
It's like a strong part of their code that you can only have 100 friends in the game, which sucks for me, because I've told my fans like, "Hey, friend me, the armed gamer," and that filled up in like a second. They're like,
Oh, aren't you popular?
"Oh yeah, tremendously popular."
This is
Um,
why I sold everything Xbox related after my second Red Ring Xbox. I was done.
Yeah,
yeah,
I stuck it out. I bought the R2D2 Xbox. It just came out recently.
I saw that. I'm like, dude, I kind of really want that.
It's amazing.
it was right before the Mass Effect stream that I saw pre-orders for that. I was like, "Oh, why do I need an Xbox now? Damn it!" It was just awful, but yeah, I kind of wish I had that though. Man, Star Wars Connect, guys. Wow.
Can you use the Force?
It
You can try.
Kind of.
You can dance with Han Solo,
You can't
You
do.
can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
precisely. And if you have Star Wars Connect, chances are you don't have friends.
This is true.
I have
Or
Star Wars
Steve's
Connect.
limited to only 100 friends.
I tell you what, it's such a great idea to do something like that, but it's just not there yet. Like the dancing part is just silly and it's fun, I guess. But when I have tried it, in my underwear by myself, it's not. It's just not able to register my awesome moves. So I imagine other people can't.
hmm
Yeah.
And what's interesting actually is the online show Extra Credits had an entire segment on what they called kinesthetic projection, which is
Uh-huh.
almost like the physical uncanny valley, where a lot of these games are coming into problems, like on the Kinect and the Wii, whatever PSI. They're running into the issue of it just feels unnatural because what you're physically doing isn't what you would expect to see happen on the screen, but it doesn't match up. There's going to be a certain amount of lag, or just
Yeah.
your character model is going to do something completely different, and it just feels like an uncanny valley. It just feels unnatural and weird and not fun.
Well, as Cool Story Bro points out, virginity is strong in that one, so I would know nothing about Uncanny Valleys.
Zing.
Awful. So, yeah. What was the last game you played, Andrew?
The last one I played, I played Battlefield 3 about 5 minutes before I came on here.
Excellent. Good times.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Very good game. I
Just hop onto a Learn to Fly server with anti-air missile and see how long I can go before I get kicked.
Well played. Yeah, I really want to try that one mod where it's like an actual war that's going on. God, I forget the name of it. World in Conflict, I think it is, or no?
Yeah, where you play match to match with a group of people, and it's like a whole ranked system. I still
Yeah,
haven't got off of that, but it's an interesting concept. It's
yeah.
something, I just want to I want to just in my own time, I want to just hop on and play.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Uh, God, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of really cool stuff going out in games. Oh, one thing that's interesting that's coming out. I forget the name of the game. There's a Kickstarter coming out right now, uh, where it's a game creation tool for teachers, where they can turn their class into sort of an MMO, where the kids do homework to earn gold and experience whatever. They
Earn
can
gold
do.
Serious.
homework, man. Where was that when I was in school?
Yeah, seriously, and they can do like fun stuff on the side and trade things around, and it sounds like a really fun, cool, interesting concept. I, God, yeah, it's a Kickstarter. I forget the name of it, but definitely I'd say worth checking out.
It must be
Um,
really uncomfortable when you unlock, the romance scene with your teacher, though.
oh, yeah, that's happening. If BioWare was making it, yeah, it'd be like 8 romance scenes. Yeah.
You okay, Steve? You sound tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trails off after every sentence.
Let's just say it's been an exhausting day. I found out that I have to pretty much move very soon.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I had to like go check out a new place today and got to apply for that. So I am just all sorts of exhausted.
You have to apply to live.
I mean, yeah, there's stiff competition, so you got to throw in an application, be like, yes, I can guarantee that I have an income source and whatever the hell else.
Can you
That's
guarantee?
Yes, I can just be like, look at my website. I have a byline here.
You just give them a lot of video game receipts.
Yes, I will just walk in there and be like, here's all my Best Buy receipts. I wouldn't be able to afford this if I wasn't gainfully employed. I win.
Or selling drugs.
You accept Bitcoin.
Oh, God. Yeah, so, I think this is about it. I think it's, we should just,
Throttle Junkie should pick up BF3 again.
yes,
I concur.
Throttle
I should
Junkie,
probably
pick up
play it for the first
Battlefield
time.
3 because Drew tells you. And,
Yep.
yes, that's exactly what he's here for.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah,
Advice. That's not what you came for, but that's what you get.
precisely. Take our gaming advice. Enjoy. But, yeah, so I think we should call it a night. Unless you guys have anything else worth talking about, I'm tapped out.
Yeah, you look tapped out.
Yeah, you could say that.
I think I'm good. Jeff?
I have nothing.
All right. So let's go ahead and call it a night. Thank you for everyone watching. This was What's Brewing with Armed Gamer, and on video with Drew, and on phone with Jeff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you pretty much the same time next week. Peace out.
Later, guys.